Welcome to the BYU campus, home of the 8th-ranked Cougars. Cold weather gear is a must today for the fans filing into LaVell Edwards Stadium. Rocky Long and the New Mexico Lobos look to spoil the party today. It's BYU and New Mexico next. They're bundled up and ready for football here in Provo, Y Mountain, overlooking LaVell Edwards Stadium, where the 8th-ranked BYU Cougars, unbeaten, take on the visiting New Mexico Lobos. Hi again, everybody. Along with Blaine Fowler, I'm Tim Neverett. Sammy Linebaugh joins us shortly from the field. BYU has won 15 straight games on this field. For New Mexico to win today, it's going to have to be the running game.
Well, and Rodney Ferguson will have to have a big game for the Lobos. A big physical back that missed last week's game with a shoulder injury. He's got the size to take it inside. He's a punishing runner, but he also has the speed to get to the perimeter. And one thing's for certain, when he carries the ball, defenders will be hurting because he will put those pads down and make you pay at the end of the run. On the defensive side, it's all about Zach Arnett. Leads this team in tackles with 49. He's a guy that at 5'10", 205 pounds is not your typical linebacker, but Rocky Long tells us he's the heart and soul of the defense. He runs to the football with great passion, and he's got tremendous toughness.
The guy who makes the offense go for BYU is Max Hall, the quarterback, but the man in front of him, Dallas Reynolds, has to be on the same page in order for this offense to work.
Max Hall will make the calls at the line of scrimmage, but then Dallas Reynolds will make the protection calls for Max Hall. And against this New Mexico defense where they move around a lot, it'll be very important for Dallas Reynolds to get it right to keep Max Hall out of harm's way.
All right, stay right where you are. We've got a good one here on the mountain as the 8th-ranked BYU Cougars host the New Mexico Lobos. It's homecoming here in Provo. We're counting down to the opening kickoff next on the mountain. With Blaine Fowler, I'm Tim Neverett. The canyons just to the south of Y Mountain, indicating what it could be like today. Sammy Linebaugh down on the field to tell us more.
Wild weather day. We've already seen the snow, and coaches on both sides say they're not worried about the rain, they're not worried about the snow. It is the wind that could really affect play calling, particularly for a BYU offense that likes to throw the ball. Now right now, field side, it feels a lot like the calm before the storm. Whatever the weather, Rocky Long and his Lobos know they have a very tough task before them today.
Well, for Rocky Long, the Dodge keys to the game for New Mexico, Blaine.
Ball control. They need to effectively run the football and get Rodney Ferguson off to a good start, and no turnovers. They cannot turn the ball over on the road here against BYU.
For Bronco Mendenhall's Cougars, what about their keys?
They've got to make the right calls, recognize the blitz, and pick those blitzes up so Max Hall stays unharmed, and they have to stop the run. If they can force New Mexico into a throwing game, that plays right into BYU's hands.
BYU won the toss, deferred. They will defend the north goal and kick off to the Lobos, who will have the football first. Roland Bruno and Glover Quinn are back deep to receive, and we are underway. This will be Bruno a yard deep. Bruno, a 23-yard return, and that is where New Mexico will get to work. They are led by redshirt freshman quarterback Brad Gruner, 6'2" and 217 pounds, making just his 3rd collegiate start. An option quarterback in high school, but he did throw the football considerably, leading his team to a state title in the state of Arizona. But the passing game has been the issue so far early in his tenure as the Lobos started. 65,000 on hand at LaVell Edwards Stadium today. And on first down, play action. Gruner throws incomplete, looking for Michael Scarlett on the far side.
And Rocky Long told us, Tim, that they would have to throw the ball more effectively against this BYU team. They have a solid run defense, a very good front seven, and he knew that Gruner would have to be more effective. He comes into this game and starts averaging under 80 yards a game throwing the ball.
Second down, 10 yards to go. 3 receivers set, and Ferguson, the lone setback, gets the call. And Ferguson is gang tackled at the 26-yard line. Blake Denny, the left defensive end, leading the way. Starting lineups are brought to you by Sinclair Oil. We're about as American as it gets. Cook is the man snapping the football. Stride and Tofalele are the guards. Hatton and Bell are the big tackles for the Lobos. Rodney Ferguson will do the bulk of the running. Matt Quillen will play fullback. Chris Mark, the tight end. Williams and Bruno, the wideouts. We'll see others in the game as well, including Gruner, who is lined up as a wideout. Ferguson will take the direct snap on this play, and he'll run it. And he's got the first down. A gain of 10 to the 36-yard line. So Gruner lining up outside. David Nixon leading the way defensively. Up front, Jorgensen, Denny. Those are the guys to watch on the outside for the Cougars. The linebackers, Nixon, who just made the tackle with Clausen, a converted defensive end. Bauman and Doman on the inside. The defensive backs, the cat back, David Tafuna, that's the strong safety. Kellen Fowler is the free safety. Not much there for the Lobos that time, as Matt Bauman, who was the flag bearer today, bringing out the flag along with Cougar alumni Chris Hoke, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's one of the traditions they have each game. They select an alumni flag bearer and a current player. And Bauman was the guy that carried the flag and led the team on the field.
Well, and it's a big honor, Matt Bauman, because your teammates vote on that. And it is looked upon as a big deal. So for Matt Bauman, congratulations. And a big play on that last one.
Shotgun on 2nd and 9. The throw goes out to Bruno. Bruno skirts a tackle, is wrapped up near the 40-yard line. David Tafuna, the catback, the senior from Mesa, Arizona, would make the tackle. 3rd down and 6 coming for the Lobos.
And I like what New Mexico's doing for Gruner right now. They knew he was going to have to throw the ball in this game, and so they're giving him some easy throws here. They're giving him some quick hitches, some little screen passes that are almost 100% completable to give him some confidence early.
It will be 3rd down and a long 5. The line to make is the 46-yard line. Out of the gun. New quarterback in the game is Tate Smith, and he's going down. Brett Denny comes up with the sack, his 6th of the season. Tate Smith taking the snap. He is the cousin of former Lobo quarterback Stoney Case. Wears the same number 25.
Well, and a design quarterback draw in that play. And boy, for BYU, Denny has really come on. To start the season, he was looked as a rotate-in guy in that defensive line, and he has established himself as not only a starter, but a go-to guy defensively on big plays.
O'Neal Chambers is back to receive the New Mexico punt. Heavy pressure. And Chambers will have a chance to field it on a run at the 24. Gets up to the 28-yard line before he is knocked down. And the Cougars have the football for the first time today. Max Hall, he appears on the Heisman candidacy list right now. He's having an exceptional season. 17 touchdown passes. Transfer from Arizona State. Very competitive and the unquestioned leader of this football team.
Well, and one thing I've noticed this week, Tim, is he's talked with the media. He's excited about this football game. He seems fired up. He did not play particularly well last year. He's a young quarterback that was confused by this defense, and I think he wants a chance to redeem himself and show that he can read against this tough New Mexico defensive front.
Aimless shotgun on 1st down. With time, throws over the middle. He's got Michael Reed, 45, and Reed, just back from injury, is going to go out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Solomon chased him out, the safety for New Mexico.
Michael Reed is a huge addition back in this BYU offense. It's a guy that Max Hall trusts. When Michael Reed was playing, 50% of the wide receiver balls were going to Austin Collie and 30 to Michael Reed. When Michael Reed was out, 70% of the balls were going to Austin Collie.
This time it is Collie, and Ian Clark, the Lobo back, meets him behind the line of scrimmage. Let's take a look at the BYU lineups, brought to you by Sinclair Oil. We're about as American as it gets. Reynolds has now started 44 straight games. Fui Vakapona, he is a bruising running back. Harvey Unga and Dennis Pitta, some of the playmakers. We've seen Reed with the 16-yard catch, and also Collie with his first reception of the game for BYU. Just over 11 minutes to go, first quarter, no score, first possession for the Cougars. And Hall delivers to his brother-in-law, Dennis Pitta, up near midfield, Blake Ligon. the safety from San Angelo, Texas, with the tackle. Beck is up front. Balogun and Lovato. They'll be the three rushing. Felder and Arnett, McPeak and Clark. They'll split time the Lobo back position. Solomon, a safety with Lagon, DeAndre Wright, and Glover Quinn, a very talented pair of cornerbacks. They will be challenged today by the BYU receivers. Third down, and Hall delivers for Colley, incomplete. Clark was the man covering Colley on the play, and BYU will have to kick.
When he had Colley, Colley was on a slant route. He was open. The ball thrown a little high and behind. That's a catch that Colley would normally come up with. But for New Mexico, a big victory here on the first series, forcing BYU to punt.
C.J. Santiago to kick it away as Ian Clark, former high school quarterback, playing the defensive side of the ball and special teams. 7 times, or rather 5 times last week, he had to return punts, and this one's going to bounce inside the 5. First touched outside the 5, so they'll spot it at the 6-yard line, and that's where the Lobos will have it when we come back. Scoreless in the first quarter. A big one, certainly, for New Mexico. Here's Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, trying to get some offense into the second drive of the game. Brad Gruner lines them up, 2 tight ends, and Ferguson, the lone setback, gets the call. Not much there for Rodney Ferguson. He got a yard up to the 7. Tackled by Matt Bauman. He led the way for the BYU defense.
And Bauman leads this BYU defense in tackles with 38. Physical guy that can really run to the ball. What they like about him is his ability to get to the sidelines. And you'll see him make tackles in the middle of the field like that, but he'll also make tackles on hitch routes to the wide receivers. A great middle backer that can run.
Ferguson again. He is hit by Jan Jorgensen, who made the initial contact from his defensive end position. Jorgensen, the junior from Helper, Utah, All-American candidate. He is on the verge of becoming the Mountain West Conference all-time sack leader. Needs a sack and a half to attain that goal. He has 21 in his career. Third and long. To the ground again, and Ferguson is cut down at the 16-yard line. This will be close to a first down. The free safety, Kellen Fowler, the senior from nearby Kaysville, Utah, chopped down Rodney Ferguson.
Well, and this is where Ferguson can be so effective. You got to get bodies to the middle of the field because he's so strong, but he's got the speed and the vision to bounce it, and he gets out, but I think he's going to be short. It'll bring up 4th down, and New Mexico will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Well, they're bringing the offense back on the field, Blaine. They brought in the jumbo package, 3 tight ends, and Brad Gruner's going to bring them out on 4th and less than a yard. Maybe trying to just to draw them offside. And Ferguson's got the first down. That is a gutsy call by New Mexico.
It's always gutsy when you get it, Tim, but I don't agree with it at all.
There's another adjective if you don't get it.
I do not agree with it at all. I don't think you ever go in the first quarter of a scoreless ball game for 4th down on your own 15-yard line. So it looks great right now because they got the first down, but the risk there is you don't get that first down, it's a huge momentum swing in the game, and there's really no momentum on either side right now. And BYU's offense, I guarantee you they score if they take it on the 15-yard line. So it works out, but I don't like the call.
Again, it's Ferguson, this time tackled after a gain of 1 to the 21-yard line. Daniel Sorensen, a strong side linebacker, freshman out of Colton, California, coming up to make the stop for BYU. Tate Smith is back in at quarterback. Thought we might see a little bit of him today, just not this early in the game. Comes out in a 4-receiver set, and Smith out of the shotgun. On the zone read, Smith trying to find a lane, and he is going to be swallowed up back near the line of scrimmage. And
Russell Tialavea to the football, and he's kind of an unsung hero for this BYU defense, Tim. He plays in the middle. He's a guy that requires a double team because not only is he physical and strong, but he's so quick that you got to help him. You got to help that center with a guard. And he just kind of goes about his business and cleans up so that the linebackers can go make tackles. But big part of this BYU success this year.
Ian Dulon has come in to play the nose on this down. 3rd down, 8 yards to go. Smith throws, first down catch, Michael Scarlett, the freshman from Albuquerque. Brandon Bradley in on coverage. A gain of 12 yards, and New Mexico moves the chains.
Boy, and I like the throw by Tate Smith. It was up on time. It had a lot of velocity on it. Take a look. He's setting his feet. Good footwork and strides out on time and to the sideline. Nice throw by Tate Smith there. Just a sophomore out of Odessa, Texas, and Brandon Bradley making the tackle, but not before a first down.
This is going to be James Wright. And Wright, who had his coming out party last week against Wyoming, rushed for 120 yards and became the 3rd different Lobo running back in 3 successive weeks to run for 100 yards. Ferguson did it, then Baker, and then Wright. Paul Baker out today, by the way, with a hamstring injury. He will not play. Also missing from the New Mexico offense, receiver Chris Hernandez, a violation of team rules. Penalty marker is out. Pete Goutreau is our referee.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, New Mexico using a lot of different guys to carry the load the last 3 games. See Wright with 120 yards against Wyoming. New Mexico State, Baker was the man with Ferguson out. And against Tulsa, Ferguson 122 yards. Gruner throws incomplete. Pass intended for Bryant Williams.
Well, and you go back to that stat you just talked about, Tim, with 3 different guys. The philosophy here at New Mexico, I mean, it all starts with that offensive line, and they are so physical that they'll just run it at you. It doesn't really matter who's back there. But New Mexico also has had great tradition at running back. You know, Rodney Ferguson's the most recent, but Dontrell Moore, what a great player he was for 4 years at New Mexico. He was a dominant running back in this league.
Quite a different look now as almost alternating each play. Gruner and the backup Tate Smith. Smith out of the shotgun. He'll run. Smith is going to be dropped shy of the first down. Brent Denny caught up to him, the junior out of Thornton, Colorado, and Smith picks up 11.
Well, now, if you go for it on your own 15, do you go for it on the 40? And Rocky Long sends out the punt team here. And it's 3rd and a little bit longer, or 4th and a little longer this time. It's 4th and 3. It was just a yard for a first down on the last one. And heck, it worked for them, and it bought themselves a little bit of field position.
Adam Miller waiting to kick it away to O'Neal Chambers. Chambers back at his own 15-yard line. Chambers will take it at the 10, and he's hit and knocked down immediately. Good special teams play by Michael Williams. So BYU will have the ball, and we come back to Provo, Utah.
Performance in person, because we had that game last week, and it was an amazing performance. Colorado State played very well.
BYU with the football at their own 9-yard line, and Max Hall working out of the shotgun. Dumps it off over the middle to Harvey Unga. And Unga, the running back, gets across the 15 up to the 17-yard line for a gain of 9 before the middle linebacker, Zach Arnett, put him on the grass.
Well, what makes this BYU offense so difficult to defend is there's so many weapons in the passing game. We've already talked about Pitta and Austin Collie and Michael Reed back in there, but Harvey Unga is a very good pass receiver out of the backfield.
He averages 7.5 yards a catch. Now Collie on the reverse, and he's got the first down. Out to the 22-yard line. Frankie Baca, the junior safety from Albuquerque, with the tackle, but he'll run it a little bit as well as catch it. Austin Collie, the former Eagles scout from El Dorado Hills, California. First and 10 from the 23-yard line of BYU. That's all. Checking down. And a penalty marker comes out.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Number 88. First down. 5-yard penalty.
Let's do a check down of our own right now. Sammy Linebaugh downstairs.
Hey, on this next play, watch BYU center Dallas Reynolds. As he's walking up to the line, he's looking at the defense. He's scanning. Do they have 3 down linemen or 4? Where are the overloads? And then he's communicating that to his front 5. He said this week, by Tuesday, his brain was spinning, trying to figure out the Lobo defense and their disguises. He said, by Thursday, I was feeling a lot more comfortable. So you see him guiding out there. By the way, Mom is in the stand. She's got 64 on the front of her jersey, 70 on the back for her son, Matt.
Matt starting left tackle. Pass incomplete. Clint McPeak broke it up, intended for Michael Reed. And of course, those aren't the only 2 Reynolds involved with the BYU program. Lance Reynolds, the associate head coach, running backs coach, he's been here 26 years as a coach.
Boy, and he's had a major impact. Robert and I told us that he set the standard when he played as a player here for what linemen should do, and now his boys, he feels like Dallas Reynolds and Matt Reynolds are setting a whole new standard on that offensive line.
2nd and 15. On the slant, it's Colley. Glover Quinn covering him defensively, but Colley picks up 10 to the 29.
Well, and let's take a look. This is good coverage. This is so difficult to defend. The quick slant route. Look, Quinn's in good position, but if the ball's thrown perfectly and that receiver breaks hard out of the route, that is something that's very difficult to defend.
That's the first completion Quinn has allowed in 2 games. Last week against Wyoming, the Cowboys did not complete a pass to his side. Well, 3rd and short, 3rd down and 4 yards to go from their own 29-yard line. Hall tosses it out there to Reed. It's incomplete. That time, DeAndre Wright, who was an outstanding running back in high school, didn't play defense till he got to the University of New Mexico, and now is on the Jim Thorpe watch list, considered one of the nation's better corners.
Boy, and Tim, you mentioned earlier, as a pair, this is as good as any pair of corners in the league. And DeAndre Wright and Glover Quinn, what they can do for you is you can blitz because they are good enough to play press coverage, man-to-man on the outside, and shut a receiver down. That was excellent coverage that time on the slant route.
Short punt, but he'll get a bit of a roll. And Clark will watch it go out of bounds. And the Lobos will take over at their own 25-yard line. It's a good day in Provo, but we're scoreless in the first.
Let's go, Cougs!
Bronco Mendenhall. He's all bundled up. And obviously a little concerned. This is something different for BYU. To have no points on the board at this point in the game, Blaine. Matt Bauman in there to make the stop on Ferguson. They have outscored their opponents so far this season 59-10 in the first quarter, and right now goose eggs.
Well, and this plays right into the game plan for Rocky Long. He wants to possess the football. He wants his offense out on the field, and he wants his defense to play aggressive and be physical. And this is perfect. Rocky Long would love a low-scoring, rock-'em sock-'em type football game.
Again, it's Ferguson. Runs into a bit of a wall, and Jan Jorgensen finishes him off across the 30 to the 31.5-yard line. They need to gain the 35 for a first down. It'll be 3rd and 3. Jan Jorgensen, the All-American candidate. Veteran on this defensive line. 8 carries for 35 yards already for Ferguson. Gruner will option. 9th carry for Ferguson. He breaks into the secondary and is dropped at the midfield stripe. But Rodney Ferguson made one move and found himself free for a big gain for New Mexico. 18 yards for Ferguson.
Boy, he's so strong when he gets out on the perimeter. A well-run option that time. A well-run option. And take a look. He is so strong and so physical. This is a physical football game out there. And Bronco Mendenhall told us if you asked his players that played in last year's New Mexico game, that to a man they would tell you it was the most physical game they played in all year.
This is Wright. He's got 2 yards and into BYU territory to the 49. Matt Ayu, the junior linebacker from Rancho Cucamonga, makes the stop.
When the clock just continues to run out of this first quarter, I think Rocky Long has to be very happy. 0-0 at the end of the first quarter would thrill him.
Ferguson is out right now. James Wright is the lone setback for the Lobos. He'll get the call, running straight up the middle. And Wright has a first down, and he is spun down inside the 35 to the 34. David Tafuna, the strong safety, would make the tackle, but the Lobos getting that running game going. A 15-yard pickup for James Wright. And that's going to bring us down to the end of the first quarter, as the Lobos have been playing defense with their offense, running the football and running the clock. We are scoreless at LaBelle Edwards Stadium. BYU ranked 8th in the nation, and the Lobos of New Mexico. Second quarter next. Quarter of action. Brad Gruner and the New Mexico Lobos. No score. First quarter stats. Look at the rushing yards.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that jumps out at you is 5 rushing yards for BYU, and it seems like New Mexico's had the ball that entire first quarter, and they have 11 minutes to just 4 in terms of time of possession for New Mexico. This is perfect for the Lobos. This is exactly as planned. Run the football, possess the football, and keep it away from BYU's offense. They've done an excellent job through one quarter.
Rodney Ferguson back out there. He's now gone over 3,000 yards for his career. He has 52 yards on the game, and he's running with it again. Short gain for Rodney Ferguson. Sean Doman, inside linebacker, would make the tackle for BYU.
Well, and these backs run hard, but again, this front 5 for New Mexico has done an excellent job the last couple of weeks, and they're doing it again here. And you mentioned Eric Cook when we gave the lineups. He's the man on that offensive line that makes it all happen.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Ball in BYU territory at the 32. And Ferguson finds a running lane, and he's up near a first down. David Tafuna had to knife up from a strong safety spot to make the final hit on Rodney Ferguson.
Let's watch the big guys up front on this one, making it happen. Just a quick trap inside. They pull the guard around, and they're knocking people around. They're knocking BYU's front off the football.
Some extra effort on the part of Ferguson, who's got the ball again, and he was maybe one shoelace away from breaking that one. He's inside the 20, down to the 18. Kellen Fowler would make the tackle for BYU. And when you see the safeties with big tackling numbers, that's not always a good thing.
No, and they're one-on-one tackles right now, which is tough. Rodney Ferguson, a big physical back, and David Tafuna with a one-on-one tackle. Kellen Fowler with a one-on-one tackle. That's not good.
First down. And a big play for the BYU defense. Matt Bauman got across the line and knocked down James Wright.
Well, and as a defense, and as a defense coordinator with your play calling, BYU would like to be able to sit back and make plays just playing it straight up. But as New Mexico continues to run, BYU is going to bring more and more people. And this time Matt Bauman comes on a linebacker blitz. You've got to bring more. If you can't stop him bringing 4, you got to bring 5. If you can't stop him with 5, you got to bring 6.
3 receivers set. And the option again this time. Gruner's going to keep it. And Gruner is knocked down by David Nixon. Jan Jorgensen turned him inside. Nixon, one of those guys that the New Mexico coaching staff said he is the best guy we'll face so far this year. He runs well, does everything well, and certainly a guy that they have to identify where he is on the field when they come up to the line of scrimmage. Third down, 3 yards to go. Ferguson looking for a cutback lane. He'll be shy. Matt Bauman in on the tackle again. And they'll be 2 yards shy of the first. They needed the 8 for the first down, and Rocky Long is going to send out the kicking unit. James Ahall, who missed 2 last week, but who tied a Mountain West Conference record with 5-point afters in a game in an earlier contest this year. A walk-on who was cut, came back, gave it another try, and he has been a star. This will be a 27-yard attempt. And New Mexico has a 3-0 lead. And for the first time this season, BYU has not scored first in a game. New Mexico on top first, 3-0 on the 27-yard field goal by James Ahall. The Sonic Drive summary, 12 plays, 65 yards, 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Ronnie Ferguson has been the workhorse at this point in time for the New Mexico Lobos, but that time of possession has been key also.
It's been unbelievable. New Mexico just is keeping the football, and that's the perfect prescription. BYU's offense so potent. If they're not on the field, you take that away. And basically, New Mexico is taking BYU's offense out of the game by keeping them off.
Austin Colley and O'Neal Chambers are back to receive, and Colley will go out of bounds. Wow. That'll be spotted at the 5-yard line. And had he let that one go out of bounds, would have been a penalty.
Yeah, and certainly that would have gone out of bounds. You take a look at it, and you know, it's hard because you're focusing on the football to know where that sideline is. He didn't recognize it until he caught it. Now he looks down and thinks, oh no. Right now, definitely going through his mind is, should have let that one go. But you'll notice he didn't see where the sideline was until he caught the football. And nothing he could do to keep his balance and get it back in play. And he knows he should have let that one go.
It's a long walk back to the sideline after a play like that, but he's on the field now. 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line. Backs in the eye behind Max Hall. Harvey Youngna skirts across the 5, and he is hit by Brett Kennedy. Part of the hitmen, the rotation of defensive linemen for the New Mexico Lobos.
And one thing we have not seen BYU really do in this football game yet, of course they haven't had the ball much, but really try to run the football against this New Mexico defense. It's a tough defense to run against because you're not quite sure where everybody's going to be, and so guys come free a lot and come loose.
And again, he's got Fui Vakapuna blocking for him on the outside, sidesteps a man. DeAndre Wright throws a left shoulder into him. And they'll get up to the 10-yard line. BYU has a distinct advantage on the offensive line. Look at that. They outweigh New Mexico's line by 50 pounds.
And when we talked to Robert and I, we asked him if the professional scouts had been in looking at this offensive line, and he said yes. They've indicated interest in all 4 of the senior starters on that offensive line. 4 of the 5 there are seniors.
So there's always donuts around when the pro scouts show up. They bring donuts. Max Hall throws. That is caught. Dennis Pitta making the catch for a first down at the 19-yard line.
And Rocky Long told us, Tim, that Dennis Pitt is a tough matchup because if you have a secondary player on him, he just boxes you out. He's so strong he can push off on a linebacker, and you see a little bit of both there. He comes down, he pushes off, he's very physical, and he turns around, he basically posts you up. He's got such a big body and such good hands that he's a terrible matchup for any defender.
Dennis Pitta had a career-high 213 yards receiving against Northern Iowa here earlier in the season. Hall. All kinds of time, he'll run it. And he is hit by Zach Arnett at the 21-yard line. Not much there. Oftentimes as a quarterback, Blaine, and you know this, you take off, you think you've got some room, but that room really shortens up.
Oh, and the way these defenses run in Division I football now, the windows are small in the throw game, and if you think you can run it as a quarterback, those windows that are open shut down real quick. And that time New Mexico decided to drop in coverage. You get so used to blitz, blitz, blitz when they drop back, it surprises you as a quarterback.
2nd and 7 from their own 22. Play fake, and Hall going deep, looking for Austin Cole. He's got it! Austin Cole gets inside the 25-yard line, beating Glover Quinn. 50 yards plus 8. Call it a 58-yarder.
Well, and Austin Collie continues to be able to do this. You see just a little hesitation. Gets Glover Quinn to think he's going to break down and come on a comeback or an inside breaking route, and then he just runs by Glover Quinn on the streak. And Austin Collie consistently has done this all year. He just runs by people.
He's not thinking about catching that kickoff now, is he?
No, he's forgiven. They will forgive him.
He's forgiven.
His teammates will forgive him now.
Max Hall not happy with what had gone on in the alignment there.
And you know, Tim, with the new timing rules, the clock starts as soon as you snap the football, and this happens a lot on long plays. It takes you longer to get set, and he was out of time. Had to call a timeout.
Max Hall and the BYU Cougars hooking up for a long one. Austin Collie on the receiving end. 3-0 New Mexico. Cougars drive it. State still to come from Qualcomm Stadium tonight. That'll be game 3 of our triple-header. Here's Harvey Unga. And Unga inside the 15. Down the 13-yard line before Ian Clark tracked him down. And Harvey Unga, he's got 4 letters in his last name, Blaine, and it seems that his name is butchered more than anyone else. His dad has said it's Unga, not a hard G, and they want it pronounced Unga.
Yeah, and they do a little thing here on the scoreboard that we saw earlier where they talk to Jackson, Harvey's dad, and he says, this is how you say it, and then they ask people all over the community, and nobody can get it right. The G is almost silent, so it's like Unga.
His teammates even blow it, but it is a funny piece of video. It's on the BYU website, very funny. Here's Unga again, and he's got a first down at the 6-yard line. Clint McPeak would be on the tackling end, and they just went straight up the middle that time with the big running back.
Watch 76-1 here. Ray Fanga and Fui Vakapuna. There's Ray Fanga just flashed in front of your screen. Fui Vakapuna out in front, and that is some good blocking out in front. You talk about moving the offensive line. Well, 76 Ray Fanga and Harvey Unga went in there, and they moved the line of scrimmage for Harvey Unga.
Unga in the tail of the tandem now. Fui Vakapuna is the up back. 1st and goal, BYU at the 5. Unga bouncing to the outside. Unga is going to be tackled by McPeak. Also in to help him, Blake Ligon. McPeak playing a bit banged up today. Both he and Clark having some nagging injuries to deal with.
Well, and Clint McPeak from that Lobo spot, this defense is designed to funnel things to him. He's the alley runner in this defense, and he came into this game tied with Zach Arnett for the lead in tackles at 49. And as you mentioned, banged up a little bit. They need him to be effective because he's such a focal point of this defense by design.
2nd and goal from the 2. Pitta in motion. Again to the ground. Unga, head down. And Harvey Unga is near the goal line. I don't believe he got in. 3rd down and goal.
Look at all the people in the box on the line of scrimmage, and New Mexico did a good job that time of playing on BYU's side of the line of scrimmage. That D-line got a great surge and forced Harvey Unga to try to bounce it a little bit.
Max Hall looking, fires back of the end zone, touchdown! Andrew George, a penalty marker is down.
Holding on the defense. Number 19. A penalty is declined. Touchdown is good.
So Andrew George's 2nd touchdown catch of the season. His first one came in the Washington game.
And they're going to make this call down on the goal line right there. Dennis Pitt is trying to release on an arrow route, being underneath receiver and trying to get away. And the call holding there, they were hand fighting. And Andrew George, it didn't really affect the play because Andrew George was a guy that released on the backside, unaccounted for, and caught that touchdown pass. But the penalty was the hold there on Dennis Pitt.
Mitch Payne tacks on the point after, and Bronco Mendenhall's Cougars have their first lead of the football game, 7-3. as Andrew George, part of that talented tight end tandem, gets in the end zone. A Sonic drive summary, 10 plays, 95 yards, and 5 minutes and 4 seconds on the drive.
And I'll tell you who's going to thank Austin Collie for catching the ball down deep in their own territory and going out of bounds is BYU's defense, because that allowed them to rest a little bit. 5 minutes to have that 95-yard drive.
Coming up tonight, the Mountain Cap brings you all the best from the week in the Mountain West. Join Marius Payton and Bill Dolman every Saturday night for a full recap of the scores, plays, and playmakers from around the conference. That's the Mountain Cap tonight at 10:30 on the Mountain. They are on their feet here in Provo at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. It's Lavelle Edwards' 78th birthday today, by the way. When Lavelle was coaching the Cougars, he went 2-1 on his birthday. But he is watching this game as a spectator and celebrating another year. New Mexico will have the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Frankie Solomon not bringing it out. Last couple of games for the Lobos, 614 total yards, but only 88 in the passing game.
And they were not forced to throw the football. They were able to dominate the line of scrimmage. They were able to run the ball with their young quarterback Gruner in the game. He was an integral part of that running game. In the last game, he averaged over 10 yards a carry.
Gruner on the short drop, fires. He's got a man, Roland Bruno. And Bruno finally tackled near the 30-yard line. That's where the spot will be. He'll be very close to a 1st down. Sammy Linebaugh is down on the field. Sammy?
Hey, I ran into Brad Gruner's parents on the way in here. They have the butterflies of anyone with a son for the starting quarterback. But they say he has been preparing for this his whole life. And he told me this week, he said the biggest challenge coming from high school is the speed of the game. He said, I can't run around and make plays. I've got to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what my hot route is, and go from there. So far today, doing very well.
Hands off this time. And the running game snuffed out by the BYU defense. And it's tough, too, when you're a guy who is coming into the season expecting to be the backup quarterback. Donovan Porterigo's down. You're now the guy. But today, trading snaps with Tate Smith.
Boy, and for Gruner, he's done a nice job. And I really do like the game plan offensively. They've given him easy throws, quick throws, where he hasn't had to stand back there and make a lot of reads.
2nd and long, and Ferguson nowhere to go. Sean Dolman turned on the radar, and he spotted Rodney Ferguson right away by the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and long. And Tate Smith comes back in for New Mexico at quarterback.
So you see Ferguson pat on the chest and say, okay, I need a break. Take me out. And New Mexico has good depth at that position. Wright's done a good job. Baker has been good too, but as you mentioned, he's not playing today.
Got a hamstring problem, so Paul Baker is out. But James Wright is in. And Smith fires to the far side. That's good for a 1st down for the Lobos. As the passing game starting to work a bit, David Nixon. 15-yard pickup.
We talked this week about throwing mechanics for the quarterbacks with New Mexico's offensive coordinator, and here, very, very good mechanics. Watch his stride. Strides out, gets his hips through. Nice release for that index finger is the last one off the ball. Very confident throw that time. You see him stride perfectly to his receiver. And they brought Smith in, and this has been a good rotation for them so far in this one.
Gruner back in, 3-step drop, and he has a man on the far side, Michael Scarlett, who's seeing considerable playing time so far today. Scott Johnson in on coverage for BYU. But again, one of the things that they've been working on a lot, Dave Baldwin of the offensive staff, the drops, 3-step, 5-step, and making sure the mechanics are correct, as you talked about.
And there's so much more to the footwork. And one of the problems Gruner's been having, he did a good job that time. He's been stepping too far to the outside. Too much to the sideline has caused the ball to take off on him. That time, his footwork was excellent.
David Nixon zeroes in and knocks down James Wright. Wright is somewhere at the bottom of that pile. That's Stride looking for his helmet.
It's not for people that are, that don't like contact down there. It's a physical game. especially when these two teams get together.
On 3rd and 2, the ball's on the ground, and that is picked up by the Cougars. Jan Jorgensen. The 12th time the Cougars have recovered a fumble this season.
And BYU comes into this game #1 in the conference in turnover margin. And this defense, by design, forces you offensively to go down the field 15, 16 plays. And the philosophy is, if you have to have it for 15, 16 plays, at some point you're going to make a mistake. And this defense has forced a lot of turnovers this season.
BYU takes over at midfield. Flea flicker. Hall lets it go, looking for Michael Reed. Solomon in on coverage. The Cougars trying to get a little fancy here late in the first half.
I'll tell you, this was well played by New Mexico. You've got to read your run-pass reads as a secondary man, and that time, Frankie Solomon, the safety, did an excellent job. Did not bite on the run at all, got in his pass drop, and he was out there in perfect position to disrupt that attempt out to Michael Reed. Well played by Solomon.
All out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Hand off Unga. He's got a man in front of him. Harvey Unga bruising his way to the 40-yard line. He had Travis Bright, the right guard, out there in front of him. He is known as the SMOC, S-M-O-C, strongest man on campus.
He is a powerhouse, and he runs very well. He gets out in front. How you like to be a defensive back, Tim? You come out, and here comes Travis Bright, so you got to take him on, and if you bounce off of him, then you've got to tackle Harvey Unga, who is a load himself in a truck when he runs into you.
Gain of 8 by Unga. It's 3rd down and 2. All over the middle. It's caught by George. First down for BYU, and George is popped at the end of the play by Glover Quinn.
Oh, and Clint McPeak gets up, and he's frustrated because he knows he was in great position. Sometimes you're where you're supposed to be. You go to make a play, and the offense just makes a better play. McPeak has Andrew George. He's got him. He had to hold the shoulder, but that's perfect position, but the ball is thrown in a perfect spot, and Andrew George makes a great catch. I don't know how you cover it any better than Clint McPeak did on that play.
Unga off tackle to the right. Gains 4 to the 25-yard line. Clock continuing to run, reaching the 2-minute mark now in the 2nd quarter. Harvey Unga from Provo. Just a sophomore, 6 feet and 239 pounds. It's a lot of weight to bring down if you're a secondary man. Seeing number 45 run at you. He's running right up the middle again.
Boy, that's exactly what you were talking about, Tim. Ligon came up in good position, but you cannot go and try to tackle Harvey Unga around the shoulder pads. He's just too strong, too physical, and he just throws Ligon down on the ground and bounces it to the outside.
BYU with time on their side, 2 timeouts remaining in the half. At the 21-yard line of New Mexico. Lobos scored first on an Aho 27-yard field goal. Andrew George on a short touchdown reception, got the Cougars in front. And Unga again, rumbling to the right side, and the question now is, does he have enough for a first down? He'll be very, very close at the 19-yard line. BYU wants to call a timeout and preserve what remains on the game clock.
Well, and Bronco Mendenhall had to come onto the field all the way past the numbers that time to give an official's attention to get that timeout call.
This is a big measurement at this point in the game, because if it's a first down, continue the drive and get a chance for a touchdown. If it's not, you got to kick here and then give the ball back to New Mexico, and they'll have 3 timeouts remaining.
It'll be just short. Well, of course, everybody dressed in blue here in the stands, you can hear saying go, go, go. Everybody always wants to go when there's when they're not responsible for it. I would not be surprised to see BYU go in this situation, however.
Robert Anai, the offensive coordinator. Former Cougar.
It would be what would amount to a just under a 37-yard field goal if they were to kick a field goal. And BYU has the timeout so they can discuss what they want to do.
Timeout.
We'll take a timeout. 7-3. The 8th-ranked Cougars lead the Lobos of New Mexico. We'll be back in a moment. This one down. With Blaine Fowler and Sammy Linebaugh, Tim Everett here in Provo today. 4th and inches, and it looks like BYU is going to go for it with 47 seconds remaining in the half. Fui Vakapuna and Harvey Unga are in the backfield, 2 tight ends. Unga, he's got the first down.
The clock will stop while they move the chains. And BYU can now come up. They should have 2 plays called. If not, they could spike the ball. But I would imagine they have 2 plays called.
Right to the line of scrimmage. Max Hall has him ready to go. From the 17-yard line. Hall throwing. Knocked down. DeAndre Wright took it away from Michael Reed. Reed was open for a moment on the post, but DeAndre Wright, with good makeup speed, knocked it down.
Well, and there's 2 things that make a great corner. First of all, the ability to run and stay with the receiver. The other thing is to be able to find the ball and get a hand on it. And DeAndre Wright has both. And look, he's in trail right here, but look at him get out, lay out, and get a perfect hand on that ball and knock it down. He's done this his entire career. Beautiful play.
This time out of the shotgun. Unga moves over to the right. And Hall lets it go to the corner. It is incomplete. Intended for Austin Collie. Glover Quinn is going to get flagged for pass interference. Just a timing play to the corner.
And Glover Quinn saying, that can't be on me, as he's turning around to find out.
Pass interference. Offense.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Number 9.
And that's why Glover Quinn had that look on his face like, that can't be on me.
Second down.
And Glover Quinn went down. He was in decent position. And let's take a look. See if Austin Collie has his hands in the back of Ligon here. Ligon. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, Glover Quinn had a hand on him. That's why I thought it was going to be on
Glover
air.
Quinn. I think that on that one, a lot of officials look for Austin Collie to push off because he's got that reputation. This one, I think Glover Quinn just stumbled. I don't think that was pass interference on that one.
So New Mexico with a bit of a break here. 22 8/10 seconds remaining in the first half of play. It's 2nd down, 25 to go. The ball back at the 32. Hall steps up. He is hit as he lets it fly, and that's going to be thrown short. Glover Quinn again there, covering Austin Collie.
Well, and Quinn getting a workout on this series and coming through play after play. That incomplete was because of pressure, however. Austin Collie had a step, and Max Hall could not get the ball to the outside because of the contact and a good pass rush, and New Mexico only brought 3 on that play.
Rocky Long has been the architect of his defense for a long time, and hoping they can come up with a big play here at the end of the first half and keep it within 4 points. 3rd down and 25. Hall pumps. He's gone deep for Reed. It is incomplete as DeAndre Wright was there to cover Michael Reed. A little bit of contact there.
Well, and it was a pitch and go where there was a pump fake by Max Hall. And you talk about the makeup speed, DeAndre Wright doing a good job of getting in position. A lot of hand fighting at the end of that by both players. But good positioning. The pump fake did not get DeAndre Wright at all. He was in coverage on that streak. And now, when there was the 4th down, it was a much shorter field goal than it is now.
50-yard attempt by Sorensen. And this one is up and no good. He just missed it. Would have been good from 70 with the distance he had on it.
There's no question that he has the leg strength to kick it from there. This is a kid with a very powerful leg. But take a look as the thing just drifts to the left. Plenty of power. And that would have been good from 60 plus distance-wise.
That hit halfway up the net, Blaine. So for New Mexico, they're the ones, like Zach Arnett, who should be celebrating. The defense, after a long drive on the field, ends up holding, and they'll take Anita in the first half. So what a half for New Mexico. They followed the game plan very well, and it's working for them as they're within a touchdown, just 4 points back after the first 2 quarters of play, 7-3. So Rocky Long has devised a scheme, and even though they're trailing, they're hanging in there with the 8th-ranked team in the country.
Well, and the thing that was beautiful was that first quarter for the Lobos, where they just controlled the clock, had the football, ran the football, and because of that, they kept it away from BYU's offense.
Sammy Linebaugh is with Bronco Mendenhall.
Coach Lobo's doing a good job of controlling the clock. What needs to happen to put more points on the board second half?
Defensively, we need to play better on third down. Offensively, same thing, need to convert more third downs. New Mexico's a good football team, very physical. They play hard. And this isn't anything that we hadn't expected.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, Sammy. Bronco Mendenhall and the Cougars leading it 7-3 over New Mexico. Stay tuned for the halftime show from our studios in Denver, coming up right now. BYU Cougars lead the New Mexico Lobos after the first 2 quarters of play, 7-3 at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Hi again, everybody. With Blaine Fowler, I'm Tim Neverett. The 8th-ranked team in the country, leading by only 4 at home, and they did not score first in this one.
Well, and New Mexico had an excellent game plan coming in. They wanted to take care of the football. They wanted to run the football. They fed it to Rodney Ferguson and did a good job. Let's look at the Dodge keys to the game. We said at the outset, ball control was important. Look at that time of possession. 17:35 to BYU's 12:25. In fact, at one point early in the second quarter, New Mexico had it for 14 minutes and BYU just 4. No turnovers. They had 1 fumble. Let's take a look at Rodney Ferguson and what he did in that first half. He was terrific. 15 rushes, 71 yards. We said he needed to average around 5 yards a carry. He's averaged 4.7. He's been running the ball physically. That offensive line has done a good job of getting out in front of him. And he's got good wiggle to him. He can make you miss. If you try to arm tackle him, there's just no way. He's too strong. A big first half for Rodney Ferguson.
He makes such a big difference in the Lobo offense. Rodney Ferguson, who went over the 3,000-yard mark for his career. For BYU, how about their keys?
Well, recognize the blitz. They've done a pretty good job of recognizing that blitz. They've protected Max Hall. They've been a little disruptive. His percentage is not that good in the throw game. And then stop the run. That's where they've lacked. 105 yards rushing for New Mexico in the first half.
The big play of the first half, a 58-yard strike. Max Hall to Austin Collie. What went right on this play for BYU? What went wrong for New Mexico?
Well, Austin Collie's been doing this all year, just running by people. And New Mexico that time was caught up in a blitz. And when you play a risky defense, when you bring a lot of people, you leave those corners on an island. And that time, Austin Collie was able to win that one-on-one battle on the outside.
Austin Collie continues to insist he's faster than he actually is. According to the stopwatch, he's been 4.6, 4.5, and he says that he is a much faster guy than that, but he's got what's called football speed.
He absolutely does. He's a guy, if you time him on a stopwatch, he'll be a 4.5 guy, but if you put him in pads, he's a 4.5 guy. And so, for some reason, he gets out on the field and he's just able to run by people. Again, for New Mexico, Tim, in this second half, it will be key for them to be able to run the football again. BYU gets it first here.
And it's Austin Collie. He's going to take it at the goal line as Collie will run it up the middle. There goes Collie, breaking free to the 30-yard line. A 30-yard return for Austin Collie, putting that football speed to good use. Sammy Linebaugh had talked to the New Mexico head coach, Rocky Long.
Hey, a lot of energy coming out of that Lobo locker room as they head into the second half. Rocky Long pretty happy with what happened in that first half. He said, we pretty much stayed to script except for that one big pass play you talked about to Austin Collie. But he said, hey, we've limited Harvey Unga. We've been able to limit the offense overall, and we've gotten some things going on offense. They want to continue to run that ball and just keep playing tough. You don't have to ask whether or not Rocky Long likes tough football. That's what he expects right here, right now.
Zach Arnett making the tackle on Unga as he tried to run behind Fui Vakapuna. Rocky Long And he's been around. He's a wily veteran. In fact, the dean of Mountain West Conference coaches.
And one thing he has to be happy about is that he was productive in the first half. 11 rushes, 51 yards, a 4.6-yard average, but they didn't give up big plays. And Unga will go along and lull you to sleep with 4 or 5 yards of carry, and then he'll bust a 30-yarder, and he hasn't been able to do that yet against the swarming New Mexico defense.
On 2nd and 8, Unga trying to evade some tacklers. Gets to the 37-yard line before Blake Lagon brings him down to the turf.
When we see BYU come out of the locker room here and looks like they want to establish the run early on in this game. Had a couple of 3-and-outs, and they threw the ball exclusively. They've come out in the second half, and it looks like they have a mindset to establish that run a little bit.
Good look at Dallas Reynolds making his calls prior to the snap. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 3, Colley is the man in motion. Hall finds Michael Reed near a first down. It looks like the spot will be the 41, and that will be good enough for a first down. Lagon made the tackle.
Boy, and Michael Reed very slow to get up on this one.
Bronco Mendenhall telling us yesterday he didn't realize and had actually underestimated the impact that Reed has on this Cougar offense.
Well, and it's on a play like that. Max Hall is very comfortable with Michael Reed on 3rd down plays. He's a big 3rd down target. And teams will be very conscious of where Austin Colley is on the field on 3rd and long. And Michael Reed seems to get that single coverage. And Max Hall goes to him. You saw Michael Reed reach around. He's doing it right now, reaching around for his back. And he took a shot to that lower back as he got that first down yardage.
Bronco Mendenhall out of Oregon State. Coach there after finishing his playing days there, then went on to work with Rocky Long at the University of New Mexico before coming to BYU as the defensive coordinator and then head coach. A 4-point lead for the 8th-ranked Cougars of BYU. New Mexico doing a fine job defensively throughout the first half. Here's Unga trying to find the corner. Dives off the edge to the 46.
Boy, Ray Fanga out in front on that one. A big 76. BYU pulls those guards, Travis Bright and Ray Fanga, a lot. And the NFL scouts really like Ray Fanga. When we asked Robert and I about 76, his first words were, that is a one strong man. And when we talked to him about Travis Bright, he says Travis Bright's really strong too, but on the field, Ray Fanga is a manhandler. He just is very physical, a mauler on that offensive line.
He's a candidate for the Outland Trophy, which should give you an idea of how good he is and how he is considered among college football linemen. Unga spinning toward the 50, but is wrestled back by Kevin Balogun, the senior from Odessa, Texas. His real name's Adewale. He's from Nigeria, but Kevin's a little easier to get by with. And he is New Mexico's strongest player. He got what they call their Beefmaster Award, setting some records in the weight room. 3rd and 2. The New Mexico 49 is the first down. Unga stretched out. He's not going to get there. Well, a good spot, and it looks like they're going to give him a spot up to the 49-yard line. Didn't look like he got it there. A flag is down at the 50-yard line. I didn't think he got to the 49.
Boy, that was a generous spot that time. The flag was right in the center of the offensive line.
Chop block. Offense. Number 70 and number 65. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now you see the chop block, and we often hear of the cut block, especially when you see Air Force play San Diego State later tonight. You'll see plenty of the cut block. What's the difference?
Well, they're really looking for this year. It's a point of emphasis. When a defensive lineman is engaged with an offensive lineman. So for instance, on this one, Dallas Reynolds has the man engaged. Watch 65 right here in the middle. He's got the man engaged, and then 70 comes from the outside and goes low, and he was just on the ground on that one. But the rule reads that if somebody's got a defensive lineman engaged, another lineman cannot come and hit low. You can't go high-low on a defender.
3rd down, 17. Hall steps up. He fires. He's got Austin Collie midfield. And the ball on the ground the ground did cause that, so it'll be BYU's ball. Glover Quinn in on coverage. A 13-yard pickup for Austin Collie, but it won't be enough to move the chains, and BYU will have to punt.
Well, and this is what New Mexico's done well all night. They've defended, they've given up little bits of yardage, but they've been there, and they're running to the football well. You hear coaches say, you got to get a lot of hats to the ball. Well, that's what New Mexico's done. They get a lot of guys to the football, and they keep Austin Collie from breaking a tackle and getting first down yardage.
Ian Clark back to return the C.J. Santiago punt. And just died at about the 25, but got a New Mexico roll, a BYU roll rather, inside the 15 and down to the 10-yard line. So that's where the Lobos will take over as Santiago pins them deep. It's 7-3 BYU. Ranger hardest working player is brought to you by Ranger. See it up close at your local Polaris Ranger dealer. Number 45, Harvey Unga. He's had to get the hard yards for BYU.
Well, and he does a little bit of everything for this BYU offense. He comes out of the backfield and catches the ball, and the yardage has been tough going. A lot of New Mexico Lobos around the ball every time he touches it.
Gruner from the New Mexico 10 gives to Ferguson, who was swallowed up by Russell Tialavea. Tialavea starts at the nose tackle position. Rick Wolfley backing him up today, but Tialavea in there with the tackle. Junior out of Oceanside, 6'3", 300 pounds.
Boy, and he really worked. He suffered an injury and sat out last season, and the coaches felt like coming back from that injury that he's in the best shape he's ever been in and playing very well.
Ferguson up the middle, takes on a would-be tackler and gets to the 19-yard line. It's another triple header of Mountain West football next Saturday on the Mountain. We kick things off with the Rams and Utes at noon. Then the Lobos return home to host the Aztecs at 4. And the Falcons take on the Rebels at 8. It all happens next Saturday right here on the Mountain. Into the heavy part of the Mountain West football schedule right now. Third down, 1 yard to go. Ferguson is hit in the backfield by David Nixon. What a play by Nixon. And that will force New Mexico to kick.
BYU's going to come with a blitz this time. They're going to bring David Nixon right there off the backside. And when we talked to New Mexico's coaches, we said, anybody stand out on that defense? And they said, 43 jumps right off the screen at you when you're watching video. He runs well and plays extremely tough and physical defensively.
O'Neal Chambers awaiting the punt from Adam Miller. BYU came after it, didn't get it. And this will take a New Mexico roll and continues to roll as Bo will down it at the 31-yard line. Nice punt for Miller, but a good play defensively for David Nixon. BYU has the football back when we return up 7.
Has the answer to the sprint speed trivia challenge.
And welcome back to Lavelle Edwards Stadium, where the BYU Cougars are atop the New Mexico Lobos, 7-3 midway through the third quarter. Tim and Blaine, we just saw David Nixon go like a direct line to the quarterback there. He has talked this week about the difference in the mentality of the team. He said, we've been too businesslike. He said last week when we were up 34-0 and that didn't feel like it was good enough, we really needed to adjust and said we need to have more fun. So they're in a battle out there today. You know, what kind of fun are they having, huh?
Well, they're trying to have some fun right now, Sammy, as Max Hall throws on first down. He's cut Austin Collie. Collie down to the 39-yard line. DeAndre Wright made the tackle at a 29-yard pickup for Austin Collie on first down.
And New Mexico chose to go coverage that time and not to pressure Max Hall. And the protection on the front line was outstanding. Long time to make a deep in route for Austin Collie. As soon as he was in that window between the linebackers, Max Hall delivered a strike to Austin Collie. Huge play on first down for BYU.
DeAndre Wright comes off the field hanging his right arm, and that can sometimes indicate something with the shoulder, but DeAndre Wright with 3 pass breakups a game, a career high for him.
Well, and he has had some big plays in this ball game. He defended a deep throw to Michael Reed that he knocked down, and then a touchdown on a seam route, a short touchdown that he leaped out, fully extended, and knocked to the ground. They need him back in the ball game.
From the New Mexico 39-yard line, Ashworth, the receiver in motion, up the middle, Unga spinning. He's hit and knocked down. Abdullah Conte, who came in for DeAndre Wright, made the initial hit on Harvey Unga.
Well, and DeAndre Wright comes right back into the ball game here on 2nd down. Watch Fui Vakapuna on this replay if we've got time for the replay. The lead blocker, number 1, so physical. And he goes and he just collapses people. This time, I don't know, that might look like a sumo wrestling move right there with both arms around the outside. That looked more like a holding takedown, no, but he is so physical up front.
Here's Unga, he's got a first down, and he'll be knocked down inbounds on the BYU sideline. DeAndre Wright, who came back in, will make the tackle. And that's what the well-dressed Cougar fan is wearing these days, huh?
And DeAndre Wright was slow to get up that time again, and I'm sure in his mind he's thinking, come on, guys. Come on, linebackers and D-line. Don't make me tackle 45 all by myself play after play. That's not a good matchup if number 2 has to continually tackle number 45 in blue.
1st and 10 from the 26. Hall sets and throws. He's got Pitt at the 15. Another BYU first down. Clint McPeak there to cover him defensively for New Mexico. Dennis Pitta, All-American tight end, banged up his shoulder in the Wyoming game last week, so he's playing with a bit of a nagging shoulder injury today, but still one of the top tight ends in the nation.
And the thing that makes him so special, he's got great hands, he can run receiver-like routes, and he's got good speed, but he's a big physical guy. At 6'5" and 250 pounds, he's NFL-sized tight end.
Unga trying to cut back, gets to the 11. A gain of 4, and Clint McPeak with the tackle. One of the things we talked about size-wise, the offensive line for BYU averaging 326 pounds or better. Are they starting to wear him down, Blaine?
And that could be the case, and we noted that very first drive coming out of the half that BYU has a mindset in the second half that they're going to run the football a little bit more, establish that run, establish that physical dominance up front.
Shotgun on 2nd and 7. Hall for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Dennis Pitta. Andrew George with the catch. And BYU with a 10-point lead, waiting the point after.
And Max Hall has been very, very sharp on this drive. He put that ball in a very small window. He's been right on target. You saw the smile on Robert and the offensive coordinator's face as he met Max Hall coming off. And credit to that offensive line. Excellent protection on that entire drive.
Mitch Payne out to attempt the point after. And that is good. So Andrew George, his 2nd touchdown reception of the game, his 3rd of the season. And the BYU Cougars are up 14-3. Big day for tight end Andrew George, the junior from Englewood, Colorado, with 2 touchdown catches. The Sonic Drive summary, 6 plays, 69 yards. Took a little over 2.5 minutes, 11 yards out this time, as he and Dennis Pitta were lined up on the same side. Pitta went in, George went out, and George ended up with the ball in the end zone. This is Solomon. Oh, and he is undercut at the 26-yard line. J.J. DeLuigi on the special teams tackle. First down for New Mexico. And Gruner hands off to Rodney Ferguson. Ferguson runs into a host of blue jerseys led by Kellen Fowler. Colby Clausen, outside linebacker, also in on the tackle.
Well, and that time they put Kellen Fowler up closer to the line of scrimmage on the weak side. And when Rodney Ferguson went to bounce that ball back, he was in position to make the play at the line of scrimmage.
So out of the shotgun now on 2nd and 10. Make it 2nd and a long 9. Zone read, it's Ferguson carrying up to the 30. Runs into Jan Jorgensen. Now Fowler, the guy who makes the defensive calls in the secondary. A free safety will make them. That's what BYU describes themselves as, an old-style, old-school NFL team where certain guys make the calls.
Yeah, the free safety and the middle backer make all the calls defensively for BYU, and the center and the quarterback make all the calls on offense.
Tate Smith looking to throw. Smith is flushed. Nixon with the quarterback hurry, and that one is thrown out of bounds, and the Lobos will have to kick it again. Boy, can Nixon step on the gas. He's got great speed from the outside.
Well, when we talked to Rocky Long this week and to the New Mexico staff, they pointed out 43, and they said he reminds them of 41 for BYU last year, who was Brian Keel, and 41 last year is now playing with the New York Giants in the National Football League. So that's a great compliment to 43 to compare him to 41 from last year.
Adam Miller awaits this deep snap, and it's partially blocked. It'll take a New Mexico roll on the BYU side of the 50 and down to the 42-yard line. So even though it was partially...
It gets better every week. They're starting to run the football the way we're used to seeing Colorado State teams run the ball.
Hall throwing for Pitta, and that's going to be called an incomplete pass. They're going to say he didn't have control of it, and when he hit the ground, it came loose.
I'll tell you what, this New Mexico defense covers well. There's not a lot of room to throw the ball in, but Max Hall has done an unbelievable job of finding those little windows to throw the football. That was a heck of a throw, and Pitta didn't come up with it, but that was in the only spot it could have been to not get batted down.
From the 43, running it this time, Unga. And get up to the 48. Call it a 5-yard gain.
Well, when you're playing run defense against this BYU team, first you're going to have to fight off a 320-pound offensive lineman. Then you got to match up with a 250-pound fullback who's leading up, and then you have to tackle a 240-pound tailback. It's a big task, and that front for New Mexico's done a pretty good job of standing up to that task so far in this football game.
Wesley Beck showing a little bit of beef there. 285 pounds. His dad was a running back at the University of West Virginia in the late 70s, early 80s. All again to throw, and Pitta makes the reception at the New Mexico 49. Ian Clark, the Lobo back, there to defend. He had some help from Clint McPeak.
Well, and the one thing that New Mexico's done well in this game, with the exception of a big play to Austin Collie deep and a big inside breaking route to Austin Collie, they've been on the football. When BYU's made a catch, there's been a guy close on every play.
Clark back to return, standing at his own 10-yard line. Santiago puts that one away, and that'll take a favorable roll for BYU and be stopped just outside the 5-yard line. 14-3, BYU with the lead. New Mexico got out to a 3-0 lead. Rocky Long has been through these wars quite a while now. He certainly understands what they're all about. It's tough to win on the road, but for whatever reason, New Mexico hasn't beaten BYU in Albuquerque, but they've won here a couple of times.
And Rocky Long brings a great toughness to every one of his football teams. The team reflects his mentality, and he's the dean of Mountain West Conference coach. I remember when Rocky came into the league 11 years ago, and he had Fisher DeBerry in the league at that time, and Lavelle Edwards, and Rocky now is the senior guy.
Sonny Lubick, John Robinson, coach like that, we're there.
Well, and we're spoiled, Tim, because we get to work with some great coaches covering this conference, both in football and basketball, but Rocky Long is is one of the great ones. He's always fun and good to talk to. He tells it like it is. But what a competitor he was as a player. And he coaches that way, and it shows up in his players on the field.
And his teams play maybe physically bigger than they are, and maybe tougher than they are. And many folks will say that New Mexico often takes on the personality of its head coach. I mean, they are outsized today, there's no doubt about it, but they're not playing like it. It doesn't matter the heights and the weights.
Well, and talk about a physical run by a quarterback. Brad Gruner that time just put his shoulder down and got after it. You know, he's a pretty big guy. He's not real shifty, but he's a very hard, straight-ahead runner. 6'2", 217-pound redshirt freshman. He's not afraid to lower that shoulder and run over some people.
Three in the backfield, an inverted wishbone. Gruner letting it go deep. He's got a man, Jermaine McQueen, at the 41-yard line. That's going to be a first down. Scott Johnson there to cover, and McQueen, also a track star twice. He was the North Carolina state champion in the 100 and 200 in high school.
Well, and the key here was the protection, because it allowed McQueen to run that double route. You saw he ran a post and then back to the corner. Difficult to cover for the outside guy, the corner, Scott Johnson. But to be able to do that, to throw the ball that deep, you've got to have good protection. New Mexico's offensive line held up very well on that one.
Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, telling us this week they need to get him the ball more. They're happy with his progression. Trying to progress up the field this time is James Wright. Wright is at the bottom of the scrum. Sean Dolman started it. Nixon rolling up off the bottom of the pile too, and the spot will be at the 46.
And Wright, you know, he's a compact running back as well. 5'11", 235 pounds, physical, low to the ground, knows how to get those pads down. But New Mexico just gets them. Year after year, they get guys just like that. Physical guys that will run it downhill right at you.
This time Ferguson bouncing to the outside. He'll gain the 50. And where will the spot be? Well, keep it on the New Mexico side of the 50 to the 49. So third and short. And an important down now for New Mexico. Bring in Bryant Williams and Jermaine McQueen along with Roland Bruno's wideouts. Looked like the tight end Chris Mark needed to tie his shoe. They'll tape those up. And a penalty marker is down on the backfield. Gruner was just short of the first down. Jan Jorgensen chased him down.
Holding. Offense. Number 69. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
That's Eric Cook, the center.
And for BYU, I think you almost have to take it, because New Mexico's in a position, even though it's fourth down, it would be fourth and about one, and you'd be tempting Rocky Long to go for it on fourth. I think you take the penalty, move them back, and force third and long. And they will do that, it looks like.
Some argue it's better to take the down away, and some argue it's better to move them back because third and 13 is a little bit more difficult to get than, say, fourth and 2.
Yeah, and I think Rocky Long on 4th and 1 or 2 would have gone in that situation.
4 receivers, 3 wide to the right. Tate Smith is the quarterback for the Lobos, throwing. It is tipped and intercepted. Kellen Fowler tipped it. David Tafuna running with it. And Tafuna out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Boy, and Tate Smith that time, he telegraphed the pass. He looked at the receiver, Kellen Fowler, the free safety, sitting in the middle of the field, reading the quarterback's eye, saw it all the way. He's able to jump the route, tip it up, and David Tafuna is able to make the play behind. And you've got the free safety sitting in the middle of the field. You see Fowler get a jump on the ball. As a quarterback, you want to look right at that free safety, look him off to a different part of the field, and come back to that receiver. And these young quarterbacks have not learned that yet. The sophomore from Odessa, Texas, telegraphing that one a little bit.
Tate Smith, the cousin of Stoney Case, who also wore 25, and Hall's going to dive ahead to the 40. And the clock is going to wind down to the end of the third quarter of play. So BYU will have a second down and mid-range to go when we come back as the fourth quarter begins in Provo. Kellen Fowler there taking a drink. David Tafuno had the pick. Fowler had the tip. And boy, that guy just looks like somebody I know. He can't quite place it.
He's got his mother's speed and jumping ability, obviously, but good 1-2 punch with the safeties on that last one gives BYU the ball.
And Unga, the first down catch. Unga with a cutback. He's into New Mexico territory. You know, Harvey Unga may be underrated as a pass receiver. I don't think the coaches around the league think so, but he's over 7 yards a catch. Through 3 quarters of play, 130 yards on the ground for New Mexico, but 190 in the air for BYU.
Well, and Bronco Mendenhall told us the key pillars of their program. Number 1, scoring offense. Number 2, scoring defense. And then rush for 100 yards. They're closing in on that at 96.
Unga again. Stops and starts again, and gains positive yardage to the 42-yard line. Frankie Solomon, the safety with the tackle, wearing 96. He's often asked, why is he wearing 96? Well, when he was just a scrub freshman, they didn't have another number for him. And he complained and complained and complained. And then now that he's starting to play, he said, you know what, I kind of stand out with 96. Yeah, I'm going to keep it.
He hated it, and now he's established an identity with it, and now he embraces it. He likes it.
I think he liked seeing number 96 on the pick 6 last week against Wyoming. Hall fires. That one is blocked over the middle. Looked like McPeak got a hand on it.
Well, and you have to have good coverage underneath. There was no safety in the middle of the field. McPeak was up from his Lobo spot underneath, and he did an excellent job to locate that ball and to get a hand on it and break it up. A pass breakup credited to McPeak.
The football's at the 42-yard line. Colley is in, along with Reed, and his wideouts on the left side. Pitta is split out to the right. And Colley will go in motion. Stepping up is Hall. He finds Michael Reed. DeAndre Wright with the tackle. And had DeAndre Wright been a half step slower, that would have been a big gain for Reed.
Well, and we've been talking about how good New Mexico's been in the underneath coverage. Watch these guys get out and run. Zach Arnett running to the outside, the runner crossing route. And look at DeAndre Wright close. BYU thinking they can throw the ball underneath and get yardage after the catch for the first down. But this is 2 series in a row. The catch has been made underneath, and a stop has been made as soon as the catch is there. DeAndre Wright having a heck of a football game for New Mexico in this one.
New Mexico is not going to put anybody back to return this one. And we'll see if it's in the end zone or not. Looks like it is. That's a touchback. So New Mexico will have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 20 when we come back. 13-11 to go in the game. BYU with a 14-3 lead. That one, and he just gets a piece of that Adam Miller punt, as he has been getting some space between the ground and his cleats on the punt block team.
Well, you got to be a little crazy to be on special teams, and boy, Elisa laying out the body to help on that.
McQueen, the catch and run, good for a first down just beyond the 30-yard line, so 11 yards on the game for Jermaine McQueen, a kid who was going to be in the New Mexico program last fall, but a friend of his best friend, killed in Iraq, went home to deal with it, to help the families, and enrolled in the spring. And the Lobo coaching staff said he had a great spring, and they have high hopes for this young man as an improving receiver. This time, nowhere to go for Ferguson, as he is completely swallowed up for a loss of 4.
Well, and Russell Tialavea was the first one there, but that play, it looked like the entire defensive line came through. You know, they come through the gaps, and Tialavea is there, Ian Dulon's there, Putnam is there, and that was one where and Ayu is there. That's a play where the New Mexico offensive line definitely broke down. Too many people to the football.
2nd and 14. Bruno in motion. Straight back this time. They set up the screen, and it is in the air and knocked down. Great opportunity to intercept the football for the BYU defensive front. It looked like at least 2 guys had a chance to grab it.
Boy, and Matt Putnam is a guy that tipped a ball to himself a couple of weeks ago and intercepted it. He uses that long frame, 6'6" and 237 pounds. And they tell you, if it seems too easy, it probably is. If it seems too good to be true, he comes off and says, wait a minute, that wasn't much of an effort on the block. This is probably a screen. A great read by Matt Putnam.
3rd and 14. Gruner fires late to the tight end mark, and Chris Mark running for a first down. The senior out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas with his first catch of the game, and it's good for 24 yards.
Well, BYU covered that time and brought 3. And good patience that time to settle in, step up into the pocket, and then let your tight end do some work on an inside breaking route.
You talked about Las Vegas and New Mexico. You have to specify whether it's New Mexico or Nevada. It was Las Vegas, Nevada. Here's Gruner. He throws right through the hands of Bryant Williams. Williams was open, but a little too close to the sideline and threw it high.
And that's a tough one. When you're a quarterback and you're running full speed to your right, you have to aim inside of your receiver when the receiver's stationary. So he's looking out here, and he's got Williams. He's got to throw it about 3 yards inside of Williams because the momentum from his rollout will carry that ball 3 yards to the outside. He threw it right at the receiver. The ball drifted to the outside. That's something Gruner will learn.
14-3 BYU. On the option, Gruner fakes and keeps, and Gruner with a lifty move has the first down to the BYU 35-yard line, picks up 16 before David Tafuna makes the tackle.
And with Gruner, he has a pretty good ability to stop and start, make people miss, and then he's a big enough guy that if he can get you leaning one way or another, good fake that time. He got Clausen to go to the outside. He makes 1 tackle miss, 2 tackles miss. He's able to kind of squirt from side to side. He's big enough to break tackles.
Looking to throw again. It is complete to Michael Scarlett, the freshman from Albuquerque. Kellen Fowler in on coverage for BYU. Had a little help from Scott Johnson. So positive gain on first down. Gain of 9. 2nd down and 1 coming up for the Lobos. For the Lobos, not to get too far ahead. You get in, you got to think about going for 2.
I would think in the 4th quarter you'd want it to be a 3-point ball game. And again, David Nixon off the backside on the blitz, unaccounted for. And that cutback lane in this offense is so good to Rodney Ferguson that immediately, when it's blocked on the front side, looks backside and Nixon gets down.
Coming up next, Marius Payton and Bill Dolman keep the coverage going with Post-Game Live. Join Marius and Bill for highlights, reaction, and complete analysis as they break down today's matchup. As Post-Game Live coming up next, right here on the mountain. 3rd and 5 from the 30. Option, and Gruner's going to tuck it upfield for a first down. Picked up 7 on the play. And Gruner, who had a 52-yard run for a touchdown last week, showing that he can really use his feet.
And when you're coming from the backside, you have to play him inside out. As a linebacker, you can't overplay the play. You see Doman here needs to play it inside out. You've got help on the outside, and he cuts back, and he's done that a couple times now, where he fakes the pitch, plants it, and comes back right up the middle.
Ferguson, the lone setback. And Ferguson skips across the line. Jan Jorgensen gives him a bear hug and takes him down at the 18. So Ferguson continues to rack up some yards.
Boy, and with Ferguson, you have to get bodies to the football because one guy will rarely bring him down.
Rodney Ferguson doing a good job in the backfield. And Ferguson is tackled by David Nixon this time.
And that time they put Ferguson in the backfield as the setback and snapped the ball directly to him. BYU elected to come blitz that time. They put 7 in the box and brought him. So good defensive call that time for the offensive play that was called.
Ferguson had 71 yards in the first half. 84 for the game. 10th straight sellout here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Beautiful squaw peak in the background. Now Timpanogos way off in the background. Now Wright just trying to find his way through the defensive front. And he'll be close to a first down. He hits the hole rather well.
He is absolutely a downhill runner, very explosive, has a very good first step. And he's got those powerful legs. I mean, look at the size of that lower body for Wright. It's a compact 235 on just a 5'10", 5'11" frame. And those pistons you just saw got the first down on that last play.
He's a redshirt freshman. He takes the toss, and Wright trying to find the corner, and he runs into Scott Johnson, or Scott Johnson runs into him, depending on your perspective. But Johnson laid a lick on the Lobo running back.
Well, and Scott Johnson is 5'11" and 185 pounds, and this season he has shown tremendous toughness out on that corner. The teams try to run when they're weak side running teams. They run it out weak, and Scott Johnson has answered. Great form tackler, and you saw it right there.
Gruner on the option pitch. It's on the ground. Lobos come up with it. Looked like Cook, the center, trailing the play, was able to make the fumble recovery.
Boy, and a heads-up play for Eric Cook. You know, those linemen hustling on the backside, coming out and making that play. And BYU that time brought people in anticipation of that option play. They were in good position, but Cook had the huge play for New Mexico to keep possession of that football.
New Mexico, you figure, got to be in 4-down territory here.
And Tate Smith in at quarterback instead of Gruner.
Smith with 5 wide receivers. Underneath screen, complete to Williams. Williams, the catch and run, touchdown! And a penalty marker comes out at the 17-yard line. A 14-yard completion.
Boy, and from the reaction by Byron Bell, he was not happy.
Offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Boy, and Byron Bell cannot believe the call. They're going to call it an illegal block in the back out on about the 17-yard line. Let's see if we can find it.
He's up there toward the top of your screen.
And here's where Byron Bell is, and there's Ian Dulon. Boy, I don't know. That's a call that's behind the play and really doesn't have an impact on the play. Did he have his hands on the back of the defender? He probably did, but I don't think it impacted the play in any way.
BYU caught a break. 3rd down, 22. Ball at the 24-yard line. And again, it's Tate Smith in at quarterback for New Mexico. And a timeout is called. Dave Baldwin, the offensive coordinator, is hot. He is very upset at the officials and screaming down there. 3rd and 22 for New Mexico when we come back. 14-3, the 8th-ranked Cougars leading New Mexico. And Byron Bell, who was called questionably for blocking in the back.
He has every right to be upset, and the New Mexico coaches called a timeout to calm him down. They need him to play on this play.
3rd down and 22 from the 24. Tate Smith with some time. He lets it go. It is dropped. Thrown slightly behind Bryant Williams, but he had his man open.
Boy, he had Bryant Williams and threw it over the opposite shoulder. They ran 2 seams, 2 verticals on the inside. He worked back the weak side. Look at how open Bryant Williams is, and he just can't get the throw. You see, they got a seam in the middle and 2 verticals on the left-hand side. Not enough in the secondary to cover that, and a vertical all the way over on the right-hand side.
And they got to go for it here on 4th and 22. Three receivers to the left, one to the right. Ferguson the lone setback. Smith sets. Smith fires to the end zone. It is incomplete. Pushing and shoving. The pass intended for Roland Bruno. And the Cougars will take over on downs at the 24-yard line.
Well, and this was well defended. Brandon Bradley was in good position on this, and the ball was underthrown. If you're going to have a chance on this one has to be to the very back corner of that end zone. Bradley in good position. And you know, the ball, Tim, was probably thrown a little bit late. You got to throw that to let the receiver go get it. And these young quarterbacks, that's a tough throw to have to make. And Brandon Bradley was in very good position that time to make the play.
7:02 to go. Max Hall and the Cougars with the football. Unga in motion out of the backfield. Arnett showing blitz. This time they run Fui Vakapuna past the blitz. And he may have had 10. Frankie Solomon on the tackle. That should be a first down for BYU. Well, Smith furious on the bench. He's a young one. He's going to get plenty of time, judging by what's going on here today, trading snaps with Gruner.
New Mexico has some very, very nice raw talent at quarterback right now that's going to develop over the next couple of years.
We'll bring it up and measure it. See if he got 10 or 9. Stretch out the chain, and he got 9 yards. He'll be just shy, so second and short coming up. Kick off your Mountain West game day every week with MWC Football Saturday. Join Marius Payton, Bill Dolman, and our crew of experts for a full breakdown of all the conference matchups. That's MWC Football Saturday, next Saturday at 11, right here on the mountain. Along with Sammy Linebaugh and Blaine Fowler, I'm Tim Neverett at LaVelle Edwards Stadium. Tate Smith, a young quarterback, talking to his offense right now. Jermaine McQueen, the receiver, sitting next to him. And BYU second down and inches. I formation behind Max Hall. Unga is held up, but I think he got enough for the first down. Tackle made by Kevin Balogun.
Well, and that was a physical play by Balogun. He did get the first down, but a one-on-one tackle on Harvey Unga, a very strong running back, and he just singled him up, and it was a takedown.
One thing we got lucky with here today, Blaine, has been the weather. We were told to expect snow. There was an 80% chance of precipitation. Supposed to be some heavy winds. Looked like it was heading that way, but with 6.5 minutes to play, we've lucked out. All throws, Colley on the catch for the first down. 13-yard reception, beating Glover Quinn to the inside.
Boy, one-on-one out there. Austin Colley, such a good route runner. We talked about his ability to get by people, and what gives him that ability is how good he is at breaking down and doing breaking routes. That one, just a quick curl, look back to the quarterback, and he and Max Hall are so on the same page. He makes his break, the ball's in the air, and it's there on time.
Fourth straight game, he's had 100 yards receiving. He now has 13 catches for 123 yards in the game. And Hall trying to deliver one to Unga. That's incomplete. Ian Clark, the Lobo back, with the task of covering Unga out of the backfield.
Tim, I've been impressed with the Lobo backs and the linebackers for New Mexico today and their ability to cover the underneath stuff. BYU runs a lot of crossing routes and routes where players come across the formation, and they've been up to the task. They've done a nice job there. And that time, Clark did a very good job of picking up Unga out of the backfield.
Unga on 2nd and 10. Just keeps the legs driving. And works it ahead for a 6-yard gain. Clint McPeak in there for the tackle.
Well, and McPeak has had a good football game. He's got a couple hands on throws and underneath coverage. And see how he plays downhill? Run play. And he comes underneath and makes that play. He's got a hold of Harvey Unga's ankle on that one, but no false step, didn't step backwards, played downhill to the football and makes the tackle.
And Unga goes over 100 yards with the 6-yard carry, now has 104 in the game. So a 100-yard rusher and a 100-yard receiver in Austin Colley. Took a little while for the offense to really get rolling. They haven't put a lot of points up, but statistically, they've been able to gobble up a lot of yards, and gobbling up some yards with his feet is Max Hall. He's got a first down to the New Mexico 39.
When a three-man rush that time, Hall recognized that and took off. And what you mentioned earlier, Tim, it looked like there was a lot of room. Like he'd get to the first down marker easily, but it closed quickly. He had to actually make a move and break a tackle to get first down yardage that time.
BYU with a win today would be bowl eligible at 6-0. Certainly one of the goals they were trying to accomplish right around this point in the season. Straight back to throw. Hall guns it for George. That's incomplete. Frankie Solomon getting away with that one.
The coverage again solid. New Mexico showed all-out blitz that time. And Max Hall goes with a quick throw to the outside to neutralize that blitz, but the coverage man-to-man was good.
Hall will work out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. 4 minutes, 36 seconds to go. And BYU with a 14-3 lead over New Mexico. Hall delivers that one on time to Colley. At the 28-yard line, Glover Quinn in on coverage. That'll be enough for a first down. 11 yards on the pickup.
Boy, and there was not a lot of room. Again, Max Hall has been on target in the second half of this football game. A very, very small window. New Mexico has not left a lot of guys wide open, but Hall continues to have success throwing the ball.
Hall looking for the quick one now. He'll go deep over the middle, intended for George. Incomplete. And going back to that catch by Austin Colley, he has now moved up to number 7 all time on the BYU receiving list. He has 134 yards. And you look at the conferences that still have undefeated teams. The Big 12 right now, but Missouri and Oklahoma State are playing each other today. Texas Tech and Texas with wins. Mountain West still with BYU and Utah. Penn State, the only one in the Big 10, which actually has 11 teams. There's Colley open again at the 20. Austin Colley out at the 16-yard line. Another first down for BYU. 13 yards on the gain, as the combination of Max Hall and Austin Colley have been chewing up the LaBelle Edwards Stadium turf in the second half.
Well, and if you're a team that plays a lot of man coverage, as New Mexico does, over the years, they're about 70% man team. That's a tough matchup for anybody. Austin Colley is very good against man coverage because he's big and strong, and he can play if you try to be physical with him, and he can run away from you. He's got good speed, a great combination.
From the 15-yard line. Unga is blasted, but he hung on to the football. But Max Hall has had a lot of time to throw all season long. His offensive line has done a good job protecting him.
Well, teams have tried to come after him and blitz him, and he's so quick at getting rid of the football that when blitzes come, he reads it and gets rid of it. And when you don't blitz, that offensive line is stellar at keeping people out of Max Hall's face.
Wayne Latu's in the backfield now, but the pass goes to the corner. Austin Colley, touchdown. Colley beat Glover Quinn to the corner. And BYU with a 20-3 lead.
Well, and I don't know how you defend that. That was thrown as good as you can throw it. And Glover Quinn in good position, but the ball's thrown perfectly on the fade route, and Austin Colley catches it. And you can tell the 15 and 9 for BYU are right inside each other's heads. They're thinking as one, because, boy, today Austin Colley has been outstanding, and Max Hall has been throwing the ball with great precision.
Payne taxed on the extra point, and Austin Colley with his 8th touchdown reception of the season, his 9th catch of the game, 155 yards and a touchdown. as Max Hall throws another one into the end zone. It's 21-3 BYU. And Max Hall and Austin Collie, quite a combination in the second half. They really got the BYU offense going. And Dennis Pitta, you see sitting down in the middle, hasn't figured as much in the Cougar offense as you might have thought. Frankie Solomon will take a knee, and the Lobos will take the ball 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. But Austin Collie, his freshman year, what an outstanding year. Went on a 2-year mission. Came back last year, struggled to get back into form, but this year, he's back.
Well, and we mentioned he's 6'2", and he's 206 pounds. And it's hard to play him physical. He's just so strong. And look at the Sonic Drive summary. 11 plays, 67 yards, and 3 minutes and 57 seconds, capped off by that fade route, perfectly thrown from Max Hall to Austin Collie.
So a big hill to climb for the Lobos. Tate Smith in there. He throws complete, or incomplete, to the 31-yard line. Let's take a look now at the Man of Steel, brought to you by your local steel dealers. Find one near you at steelusa.com. Rodney Ferguson's been a Man of Steel today for New Mexico. He's been absorbing a lot of the hits, but gaining a lot of the yards for New Mexico.
Boy, he's a patient runner. He's so strong. You get an arm out there and he'll just run right through it. And I think he's underrated in his ability to go laterally too. He makes some people miss.
86 hard-fought yards. That pass is complete on the far side. Roland Bruno and Tate Smith seeing more of the snaps now as New Mexico gets into the throwing part of their offensive scheme.
Well, and I've been impressed with Tate Smith's arm. He's got a live arm. He certainly can make all the throws. And, you know, New Mexico comes into this season planning on Donovan Porterie being the focal point at quarterback, and it's been a little bit of a struggle. But as these young quarterbacks get better, New Mexico's going to get better and better. And they have some athletes. They're a very physical ball club.
From his own 32, Smith trying to run his way out of trouble. And he is up near first down yardage at the 41.5-yard line. He'll be just shy. I think for New Mexico fans too, Blaine, they've got to find it kind of funny to see another number 25 running around a quarterback for New Mexico. Stoney Case did such a great job a few years back.
Boy, and Case was so solid for so long.
And Bruno out of bounds into the BYU bench. A penalty marker comes out. Let's see who the penalty's
Bruno's
against.
going to catch it and try to get outside, and Kellen Fowler going to come over and make the hit on the sideline.
Dead ball. Personal foul. They hit. Number 16 defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Oh, and here's Bruno's coming, and I couldn't see the feet. The foot looked like it was in bounds there as he makes contact on the bat, but the officials, New Mexico not happy with what happened on the last drive, and they get one back here.
Smith in trouble. There goes Tate Smith. He's going to slide the 31.
You know, the other thing's been impressive about both of these quarterbacks, both Gruner and Smith. The throwing motion looks good. They're throwing the ball okay, but they're agile. They both can run around. They're good-sized guys. Tate Smith at 6'1", 190. Double threat.
Goes to the open receiver on the outside. Bryant Williams. That's Jermaine McQueen correction, and he stepped out of bounds at the 19-yard line. They'll have a Lobo first down. There's the guy they want to get the ball more toward. Again, we talked about his sprinting ability in high school. He came out when he enrolled in New Mexico and hung around the track team for a couple of weeks. They let him run in the 100, came in 4th in the conference. BYU wants a timeout. Trying to slow down the New Mexico momentum. So each team with 2 timeouts remaining.
Charge timeout.
Boy, and for Bronco Mendenhall, this defense, which was a big question at the beginning of the season, has been so good in terms of managing points. Whenever we meet with Bronco, he emphasizes that point. Talks about managing the points, and his team has done an excellent job again in this one.
Let's take a look at our player of the game. Well, who else could it be? The former Eagle scout from El Dorado Hills in California, Austin Collie. 9 catches, 155 yards. Look at that average per catch. And then he had the last BYU touchdown, but he catches the ball and then runs well after he catches it.
Well, and he can do a lot. He can run by you and get on a vertical. Makes a big play here on a vertical route, and he can also make the inside breaking routes.
Tate Smith goes down as he is sacked on the play by Ian Dulon. Dulon now with 3.5 sacks on the season.
Boy, and for Dulon, he came so quickly. He got a jump off the snap and just got through the gap, and Smith couldn't do anything with the football. Ian Dulon was on top of him before he even knew what was happening. Take a look. He makes a quick outside move, swims up underneath, and he is just right by. And before Smith can get rid of that football, Ian Dulon is right up in his face.
Junior from Hilo, Hawaii. 6'1" and 255. That's got to feel good for him. You come in for a solo sack like that late in the game. That's always something positive for any defensive lineman. So second down and 20 with the ball at the BYU 29-yard line. Tate Smith has had this entire drive for New Mexico. Sees a hole, tries to get through it. And he has corralled Michael Elisa, who's made some terrific special teams plays in the game. He is a local kid from Timpview High School in Provo.
Boy, and Elisa did everything he could to try to keep Smith in bounds on that one so that the clock would continue to run, but Smith knew what he had to do and fought and battled to get out of bounds and stop that clock with 1:14.
Third and 18. Pressure on the outside. He's gone down. Colby Clausen.
When you saw BYU substitute Colby Clausen in for Michael Elisa. Elisa's a better pass defender as a linebacker. They bring Clausen in because he's a great pass rusher, a former defensive end, All-American at Snow Junior College. They brought him off the edge, and well, he showed you his quickness to get into the passer.
Clausen now with 6.5 sacks on the season. Another one. Back-to-back plays. Colby Clausen records quarterback sacks. And the Cougars will take over on downs and take a knee. What a series for Colby Clausen.
Oh, and they brought Clausen in for one reason and one reason only 2 plays ago.
To do that.
And he did his job on back-to-back plays.
Wow.
So quick off the edge.
7.5 sacks on the season. What a great job by Clausen. So the victory formation for BYU. Max Hall will take the knee and they'll let it run out. And the BYU Cougars remain perfect at 6-0, and they are now the second team in the Mountain West to become bowl eligible. Utah the other.
When Max Hall played a solid game, I thought he was particularly sharp in the second half with his accuracy. Found small seams in that New Mexico defense. And for New Mexico, Clint McPeak talking to Max Hall there. McPeak had an outstanding football game defensively, and that New Mexico defense was physical and tough.
Some numbers to ponder for Bronco Mendenhall's Cougars. 16 straight wins at home. They have the nation's active winning streak, the longest active winning streak at 16 straight. They've now won 18 straight against conference opponents.
Boy, and Bronco Mendenhall always points out that their #1 priority is to protect this home field to win in LaVell Edwards Stadium.
Sammy Linebaugh is down with a victorious coach.
Coach congratulations, your 6th straight win. Now, the Lobo defense certainly made you earn your points today.
Coach Long is an excellent coach. He is one of the best defensive coaches in the country, and he instills a toughness and physical play throughout his entire team that should be complimented. We had to earn everything that we could get today, and Lobos deserve credit.
Let's talk about turnovers. You have one of the best turnover ratios in the country. You picked up 2 more today. That might have helped make the difference.
I think if there was a difference today, and you could put your finger on anything, it was the turnovers. Other than that, the game was even.
How about defense? What did you learn? These guys have talked about learning to trust each other more and more each game. How'd they progress today in your mind?
Oh, I think the #1 goal we always have is to limit the points, and 3 points is enough to win a lot of football games, and so I don't think it was a dominant performance, but they did what they needed to do to win the game.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Sammy, thank you very much. 21-3, the BYU Cougars win. Now Thursday night, TCU.
And it's a big one in a short turnaround. Bronco Mendenhall, the master of the understatement. 3 points is good enough to win a lot of games, and it's a huge priority for them. Defense played well. Offense struggled against a very good New Mexico defense, but a win nonetheless. Now a huge one at TCU on Thursday.
Well, BYU remains unbeaten with a 21-3 win over New Mexico. Specialized statistical information provided by Stats. Our next telecast will be in just a matter of minutes. Our triple-header finishes tonight with Air Force taking on San Diego State. For Sammy Linebaugh and Blaine Fowler, I'm Tim Neverett. Stay tuned for post-game live next. This has been a production of the Mountains. So long from LaVell Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah.
Live from